Hey, we are back with this on topic, reflecting on Fighters Pass 2 in part 2, where Lister and I are going to jump into the last three respective characters per each of our Fighters Pass predictions. So, I guess we'll just jump right into it, huh?
Yes, we will. So we've got three more characters lists each for us to say. You finished off on Agumon, where part one ended, and I think it's fitting that the next character that I was wanting to talk about is, well, it's a Pokemon. You know, be I'm sure a lot of people are kind of expecting a Pokemon now to be in the second Fighters Pass. They're not
hmm
necessarily happy about it, but after we had Byleth, a Nintendo character, be in the first one, it kind of feels inevitable that we're going to get one of the new Generation 8 Pokemon in Fighters Pass 2. Especially since we're getting DLC for the first time ever. DLC in a mainline Pokemon game, is going to come in the form
Ooh,
of two
yep, I know
expansions
where this is going.
this year. We're having one that's like the Isle of Armor and the Crownlands, Crown Winterlands. I forget the name of it, but two separate packs are going to be releasing in the year. And I was trying to think, okay, so we're probably gonna get Pokemon, but which one is it gonna be? And when we were reading off our predictions from our friends earlier, they didn't know. We There was Toxtricity, Rillaboom, Cinderace, all of them mentioned.
hmm
And then Babylonian even was just like, I don't know, man, just one that's not a humanoid, which I get it. I really do. But unfortunately, mine is humanoid. I was
hmm
trying to debate between different Pokemon that it could be. I considered Zacian, because then we'd have another quadruped, and this one's wielding a sword in its mouth, so that's kind of unique. But since we got the Spirit for Zacian as DLC in Smash Ultimate, I kind of figured probably not. I considered all three starters, did not want to pick Cinderace. We have too many fire starters in Smash. Despite the fact that a sports moveset could be interesting.
hmm
I think Inteleon could work, but we've already got a frog. Do we need a lizard? No, we don't. Rillaboom was one I was really wanted to think about because then we could finally have a grass starter. But I kind of look at Rillaboom as just like you're Donkey Kong, but with leaves and a drum. What else is there to you? Let's be real. And then I thought Toxtricity could be a fun choice. You know, it's another electric type which we've already got with Pikachu and Pichu, but mix in there some poison. There's some interesting stuff that could be done there. Plus,
Oh yeah.
it's got it's a musical themed Pokemon which we don't have yet in Smash, so there's some potential there. But what I decided to go
hmm
with was actually a legendary Pokemon that's coming out with the first expansion pack, and that's Urshifu.
Oh.
Urshifu has two different forms. I believe that I think in the games we don't really know for sure, but I think depending on what version of the game you have will depend on what form Urshifu will take. It's either a single strike style or rapid strike style. But
hmm
I figured, you know what, Urshifu, you know he's a fighting type Pokemon. His secondary type will change depending on which version he is. I'm kind of looking at him as like my fighting game rep. Pokemon's not a fighting game, but I'm looking at Urshifu and I'm kind of just like, you know what? If they were to make a moveset for Heihachi from Tekken, you could probably transfer most of that moveset to Urshifu. He just looks like he'd be that kind of fighter. And I like that idea for him. And if I was to make a moveset for him, which right now I don't have plans to, but if I was, I would have a stance change effect for him where he starts out perhaps in single strike style, so his moves are all going to work one way. But if you change his stance, he'll be in rapid strike style, so now his attacks will have a little bit of different property to them. It'd be a new way
Oh,
to do a Pokemon,
nice.
and we don't have any characters anymore that just transform into another character. I mean, technically, we have the Pokemon trainer that swaps out Pokemon, but we no longer have a Zelda Sheik or a Samus Herosuit Samus. Those are gone. Urshifu could bring
Very
that
true.
back.
Yeah, very
The
much so.
Yep. The stage I have picked out is going to be Winden Stadium, which is where the Pokemon League final battles are held. It's where like the tournament at the end of the game is held, and then whoever wins the tournament fights the champion. Felt like a pretty fitting place. I was considering the Slumbering Weald, which is where you meet the primary legendaries of the Galar region, and I also was considering the Crownlands or the Isle of Armor. I mean, goddamn. But since we don't know anything about that location yet, except for the fact that there's going to be a dojo there, I decided I didn't want to slot that one in, but it might not be a bad choice.
No,
The music I have
might not
from
be.
yeah, the music I have for Winden Stadium is the Wild Area's main theme, which felt like it would be a pretty nice calming choice. And then Pokemon is generally pretty easy in that your rivals, your champions, sometimes your different kind of trainers, they all have like their own little themes for when you're battling against them. So that made picking themes super easy because like okay, so the theme for when you battle against Top, the theme for when you battle against Marnie, the theme for when you battle against Bade, and the theme for when you battle against a gym leader, which is one of the most epic tracks in the game. I love the gym leader battle track. It's so good. It really makes you feel like you're in
Mm-hmm.
this massive arena with a lot of people watching you battle. Well
Nice.
done to whoever designed that one.
Mm-hmm.
For my Mii costumes. For Agumon, you listed a couple of different Digimon that will get costumes.
Mm-hmm.
I did not give any Pokemon any Mii costumes. It just wouldn't look right. It would be scary. Kind of like how Kirby hats for a lot of the Pokemon are just like a skin cap at the top of that Pokemon's head. It's creepy. Okay, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But for Urshifu, I decided to bring back the Chocobo hat that was in Smash 4, along with the Geno outfit. So sadly, spoiler alert, Geno's not going to make my list. I really want Geno in the game, but I've been becoming disillusioned by the idea. I still want him. I think there's hope, but I don't have enough hope to put a bet on it, which is really unfortunate. And I'm sad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Geno is going to return as a Mii Gunner. No shit. But for my other three Mii outfits, two of them are going to be brawlers. One of them is a sword fighter. The first brawler is going to be Arlie Nasha from Puyo Puyo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I decided I want to go ahead and throw her a bone since she's fairly well speculated in the community, or at least in some parts of the community. And then for the other two, I
Mm-hmm.
picked out two indie characters that a lot of people have battled over who is the best indie to be in Smash. And well, they're not going to be in Smash. I just have them as Mii fighters. That's Shantae and Shovel Knight.
Uh-huh.
They're both
Very
extremely
nice.
popular picks, so I figured, you know what? Let's just throw fans of both a bone. You got Shantae the brawler, you got Shovel Knight the sword fighter with a shovel. I know, it's weird, it doesn't make
Mm-hmm.
sense, but whatever. I decided to go with it. The
Yeah.
spirits for Urshifu, naturally it's going to be different Pokemon from Generation 8. So some of them I had a little bit of trouble coming up with something I liked for, but yeah, we'll go with it.
Mm-hmm.
First up, we got Rillaboom, who is Donkey Kong. Bet you couldn't have guessed that at all. This match is going to
No.
take place on Congo Jungle, and Donkey Kong will
Mm-hmm.
constantly heal himself when he is making physical contact with the main platform of the stage. So
Oh,
you need to get him
nice.
up in the air or on any other platform, or he's going to be constantly healing damage. I pulled that from there's other RPGs, in particular the Mega Man Battle Network series, where if you have a grass element Navi standing on a grass panel, they will always be healing.
Oh, yeah.
It can
Nice.
be annoying.
Because they're always they're getting their nutrients from the earth.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
The next one I have is Inteleon, who's going to be represented by Chakra of Shocks, Greninja, on the Fountain of Dreams stage. This Greninja is going to prioritize using either Water Shuriken or the staff item that it's going to come equipped with. Because Inteleon is a
Nice.
long-range sniper.
Mm-hmm.
The final starter is going to be Cinderace. Even though we already have spirits of their base forms in the game, I still want to use the fully evolved starters. So Cinderace is going to be represented by Captain Falcon on the melee version of Pokemon Stadium.
Nice.
All of Falcon's fire attacks are going to deal extra damage, and soccer balls are going to spawn constantly.
Very fitting.
Yes. I also have Toxtricity on here, who's going to be represented by
Nice.
Pikachu on the top portion of the Prism's Tower stage. So it's not going to rotate to any other portion of the stage, it's just going to be the top of Prism Tower.
Uh-huh.
The interesting thing here is that Pikachu's electric attacks can also poison you. Get that nice mix of
Very
electricity
cool.
and poison going on. I really like the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Then we
Me
got
too.
on here Sir Fetched, who's going to be represented by Yuri Lowell, one of my other DLC picks. And this is going to
Nice.
be on the Arena Ferox stage. And simply enough, Sir Fetched, he carries a lance, he carries a shield. His offense, his defense, they're both going to be increased. So it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
harder to deal damage against him, and he's going to be dealing harder damage against you.
Oof.
Yeah.
Nice.
Next
It's
up, I
going to be a
have
regular fencing match.
yeah. Next, I have Wooloo, one of the most popular new Pokemon from Generation 8. Wooloo will be represented
Nice.
by Jigglypuff on Green Greens.
Yep.
There's going to be 4 different Jigglypuffs on the stage, and they're all going to be prioritizing using the move Rollout. Good luck.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not going to be fun. Next, they have Obstagoon, the new evolution
Mhm.
for Linoon, and they're going to be represented by Incineroar. This match will take place on Umberclock Tower, and Incineroar will have increased priority and improved timing on using both perfect shields and the move Revenge. So you want to use range attacks with this guy. He's gonna fuck you over if you try and go with the melee. Now,
Yeah.
I have 2 legendary level spirits here. The first one is Eternatus, the uh, the story legendary of the game that's not one of the 2 heroes. It's more or less the bad guy legendary. Really looks like it should have come from Generation 7's Ultra Space, because what the hell is that design? But Eternatus is going to be represented by Ridley on the Halberd stage. For this match, not only will Ridley's physical attacks be able to poison you, but the Halberd's beam cannon will be always active. So after it finishes tracking and shooting its beam, it's going to start tracking again to shoot another beam. The entire match. It's going to be hell.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
The next one I have is going to be Champion Leon, the undefeated champion. Did you hear he's undefeated? He has a Charizard and he's undefeated. Did you know he's a Charizard? Oh, also he's bad with directions. He has a Charizard. Did you know that?
Charizard. Isn't that like the only Pokemon that ever existed?
Yes, it is. Also, it's owned by the undefeated champion Leon, who's bad with directions.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I like it.
So obviously, Leon is going to be represented by a Charizard
Mm-hmm.
on Winden Stadium. And for this match, Charizard is going to be quote unquote Gigantamaxed, because we can't do that in Smash. But Charizard is going to be giant on the stage,
Mm-hmm.
and its stats are all going to be increased. So have fun. I won't.
I want to do that. It'll be a fun match.
You do not. That's Urshifu for you.
That's Urshifu for you. Uh, I like it, and I really like the concept behind Urshifu, and I'm excited to see the Pokemon in the Isle of Armor when that DLC comes out and see how everything works. Um, the idea of a stance changing Pokemon and kind of filling in that martial arts role too, where several other characters like Heihachi or Starman or something could have otherwise filled the role with a Pokemon that's going to inevitably have a high profile is a good idea. The one question I do have, and this is probably a question that's going around the community a lot too, is how do you feel about Urshifu in the context of being a Fighter's Pass character, because it's a DLC character for Pokemon, so you're buying DLC of DLC.
That doesn't really bother me at all. I don't. I No, I don't really give a
Mm-hmm.
shit about that. I mean, I would prefer not to have DLC of a Pokemon, just because, like, well, it's funny because originally I was thinking back in the early days of the first Fighter Pass, was like, oh, are they all going to be third parties? Can we please get a first party character that people actually want? But then as it moved on, it's like, you know what? Yeah, I know, right? But then as it moved on, it's like, you know what? It's kind of cool that it's third party characters. Because this is supposed to be Smash Ultimate. It's harder to negotiate for third party characters than it is for first parties. So whenever we have the next Smash, most of these are going to be gone. That's just going to be the
Mm-hmm.
facts of it. So it's kind of nice to get these characters in here who are probably not going to appear again. Whereas in a later Smash game, uh, a new Generation 8 Pokemon has a good chance. So does Waluigi, or Isaac,
Hmm.
or
Or
maybe
Rex.
Geno, or Rex.
Baby
Like,
Gino.
we don't necessarily need Rex to be DLC because we know, unless a new Xenoblade game releases between now and the project plan of the next Smash game, Rex is going to make that roster. So why does he need to be
Hmm.
DLC?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
true.
it doesn't bother me getting DLC of a DLC character. I would just personally rather have third party characters at this point. But I feel
I
like a
agree.
Pokemon is inevitable.
Yep. At this point, yeah, after Byleth, if we didn't get Byleth in this Fighters Pass and they staved Byleth off for Fighters Pass 2, we would be speculating further and maybe Pokemon wouldn't have made the list.
Yeah,
But
if we
between
did
you or
not
me,
get
I knew it
Byleth,
was.
yeah,
Hmm.
if Byleth was not in Fighter Pass 1, I would not be predicting a Pokemon in my list. The slot probably would have gone to maybe Sora? Maybe?
Hmm. Oh,
But
Sora's not on your list, huh?
oh, yeah, spoiler alert, Sora's not on my. I mean, I already put the Geno and Chocobo hat with Urshifu. That should have been a clear sign that, hey, I'm not doing a Square Enix character because they would have been with that one instead.
True, true. You know who is doing a Square Enix character?
You?
Me. Yeah, that's right. Especially one that you just named
Sora?
like 5 seconds ago. Gino.
Oh, shit. All right.
Gino. Your good old pal Gino, who you're feeling disillusioned towards
The
his
character I
inclusion
want the
because
most?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that Gino is such a wanted character who's been begged for since like pre Melee, and the fan support has been so ardent and has never slowed down. We have Papa Genos, for God's sake, being a very popular member of the community now, based off of Geno support.
Yeah.
Geno is the sole survivor of the big three that, in terms of not being included in Smash. We got Ridley, we got K. Rool. So the question is, where's Geno? I think that's, and we've known actually, it's not just we think. Sakurai is well aware of Geno and his popularity.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the sole reason why we got the Geno costume in Smash 4. And furthermore, I think that we actually got pretty close to having Geno in Brawl because of that Beware the Forest Mushrooms track that was found in the data on the Brawl list. Um, and I think every time it's just something with Square. It's something's happening in those really tied up rights between Square and Nintendo's probable joint ownership of Geno. That's like, what is going on? Something is halting this from happening, and
Yeah.
it's probably something along the lines of Square being like, we want you to use Final Fantasy. We want you to use Dragon Quest. Those are our flagship franchises, and we want DLC of that so we can make more money.
Well,
Um,
I could see that for Dragon
yeah,
Quest, but we know that for Cloud, Sakurai specifically went up to them asking about Final Fantasy.
that's true
And it
too.
was more
And
them.
I,
They were wanting to push one of the new characters, and they were just like, "You really want Cloud and not one of the new guys?" Like, yeah, we want Cloud. That's the one that everybody
you're
likes. That is popular
you're
and is
you're really
iconic.
that tone deaf
Not
towards your
lightning.
own
It's
series?
not lightning and not knockness.
Yeah, amazing that they're making Final Fantasy VII remake now. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
some sort of light turned on. Um, yeah, but Final Fantasy makes sense. Dragon Quest makes sense. But now that we've got the two flagship franchises of both Square and Enix out of the way, it's more of a split down the middle. Do we go to represent Eidos Interactive with Laura, that Laura Croft that they bought out recently and turned into an awesome rebooted franchise? Are they going to go with Kingdom Hearts and then get tied up with the Disney mess of those rights, or are they going to give us Geno finally? Geno's a very special case, and I think the only thing that's kept him so far probably has been Square. I think that they've dropped the ball somewhere, and I would like to, at least in this fantasy land, rectify that. And I still think that there's a likelihood. It's just that we want it so much that even if the likelihood is good, it's like, is it really going to happen? It's difficult to gauge. It's kind of like the disbelief when Ridley was revealed.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It'll make me very happy. But um, the stage of the matter is, of course, and I don't think that anyone would be surprised by this, uh,
Frog
Smithy's
Pond.
Keep. Star Road. It's Star Road.
Okay, okay. I figured it was
I
either going to be
mean,
Star Road or the Forest Maze.
yeah, Forest Maze would make sense too, but we'll get to that in a second. I, you know what? Honestly, Star Road is a is a gnarly looking place, and I think that we're going to be basing a lot of Star Road's inclusion based on it being a gnarly looking place.
It's pretty
And
tubular, if you
beyond
ask
that,
me.
yeah, very tubular. Um, Beyond that, just imagine the aesthetic of that in HD, brought to life from the Super Nintendo era. Gorgeous.
Oh yes.
Beyond that, I mean those translucent. I can only imagine a translucent, long spanning stage, probably with gravity effect. That for some reason I'm imagining it as something you can't fall off of, like a Bridge of Eldon situation.
So a city with walk-offs.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Stars and stars and stars. As you can imagine, I didn't think this through.
Negative now.
Did you have Did you have any thoughts on Star Road?
I mean, if I was picking Sage Regino, I would actually go with the Forest Maze instead. Because that's the area
Nice.
where you first meet him, he joins the party,
Hmm.
and you join forces with him to fight against Bowyer. You learn about what's going on with the stars in Star Road, and that's really where the plot of the game starts kicking into gear.
Hmm. That's true. That's true. Um, okay, well you can go with the Forest Maze too. And on that same note, music. What's funny here is that I only have four music tracks even on this because I was like, this is Square, and we know what happens with Square.
Yeah, when you only get two music tracks for Final Fantasies, and then Ultimate,
Hmm.
it's still only two tracks. We got
Hmm.
eight for Dragon Quest, but it was still only two per game. It's like fuck.
Yeah. So there's some again, Square Enix has all sorts of litigation going on with just every aspect of their business for some reason. So what I'm imagining is for music, we have Beware the Forest Mushrooms. We have when I was looking up the Star Road soundtrack, for some reason I was only finding Star Hill, and I was like, are these the same
They
soundtracks?
are not. Star
And
Hill
I'm
is
like,
not
what
Star
the
Road.
hell is
I mean,
going
you
on?
don't actually go to Star Road in Mario RPG.
Yeah, yeah. But either way, that the battle theme and the menu. That's what I had down. Standard battle theme rather.
Okay.
And then so the mix between them would be originals. So you have the original tracks ripped from the Super Mario RPG, and then remixes that are orchestral remixes of each track.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you can kind of fluff things up and get more out of the measly track list.
Right. And there's also the boss battle theme as well.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put that in there too. Five tracks, 10 tracks total because of the original mixes. Me costumes, I think Mallow's a pretty easy guess, especially given supposedly what could either be real or Grinch 2.0. Um,
The Kakamelon League.
Smithy, yeah, the Cackamelon League. A Smithy, Mallow, me Brawl, or it could be a me Gunner too because of the whole mage aspect. I'm torn on that.
I'd probably go Brawler.
Uh,
What would he have as
okay.
his gun? Like, what would it look like?
Ooh, I don't want to know. Smithy, sword fighter.
Exor.
Uh, yeah, yes, yes, good. Yeah, very good. And then I also have Booster listed here as a sword fighter. And let's see here. I Croco as a brawler and Sora as a sword fighter.
Oh, okay.
Yep, yep. I just realized there's no gunners in this pack, but oh well.
Yeah, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But funnily enough, there are less me gunners of costumes of actual characters than any other me.
Interesting.
I've done the research, or the very
And
least of the
Rapid
DLC ones.
and Rapid Peach as a gunner.
That would be fitting.
Yep. And spirits again. Here's my list. What's interesting? World of Light already presented us a Super Mario RPG party battle.
They did, and there's also already a
Um,
Mallow Spirit.
hmm So I would imagine on this board, I just included Geno Malif be operate the same, but we can disregard that if you wanted or whatever. But for the other Mario RPG characters, I mostly focused on bosses. So there would be a Croco, which going off the top of my head here, as usual, you can have a purple K roll in a let's say a Newport City,
Okay.
and you have to chase King K roll down, and as you attack King K roll, if you hit him hard enough, items will come out of his body, and you can use those items to lob at him and help knock him off. But King K. Rool is constantly running away from you, so you're having to knock him down
Nice.
and chase after him. Yeah, that came off the top of my head. I'm proud of that. Um, and then to that end, there's also Mac. That would be a red Toon Link on. Let's see here. How about
Peach's Castle?
Yeah, Peach's Castle, that'll work. On Peach's Castle, and the thing about Mac is that the way that he works in that little old pogo knife of his. So Toon Link would be constantly using his down air as the prioritized attack,
That's my
and
favorite move.
chase. Yep, chasing after the opponent, and as you're so Toon Link is assaulting you with this, and there's a greater likelihood of spiking, and there's a greater likelihood of the down air making considerable more damage than usual. So it could be a pain in the neck, especially
Okay.
with the way Peach's Castle is squadroned off.
Oh yeah.
Yep, yep. And then there's a Smithy, and as you are fighting this giant Rob, depend if you do not defeat it in time, smaller Robs will also join the battle to attack.
Hmm.
And this is in in a special world. This would be in like a Bowser's Castle stage, but we don't live in that world, do we?
No.
So
Sadly.
this
I
will
mean, we
be
have the Paper
on.
Mario stage.
That's true. That's true. But no, I'm gonna. You know what? Instead of going Paper Mario, I'm gonna just throw this in here. This is gonna be on uh, Doom's Gate.
Oh, okay. That fits.
Yeah, yeah. Um, let's see here. Mega Smilax. Mega Smilax will be a giant, two, one giant piranha plant and two regular sized piranha plants, and you have to fight them all in the close quadrant space of Hannonbow.
God. Is it at least Hannibal without hazards?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
No. No,
No.
it's not.
No.
And then Bowyer in the forest maze. And the thing about Bowyer is that it's a Byleth who constantly uses the standard special. And it has heightened speed. So as you're approaching Bowyer, Bowyer will jump up, so you would have to jump towards him to attack him.
Okay.
Yep, yep. And then the Axum Rangers. They're let's see, 5 differently colored.
Red,
I guess.
yellow, green, black, and pink.
Yep, red, yellow, green, black, and pink. They are 5 differently colored. Who is a character that has all those different colors? Captain Falcon. I guess he can be like a Power Ranger.
I mean, you could have one for each ranger. So maybe Mario
Yeah,
was red. Green could be, I don't want to say Luigi, but it could be Luigi, I suppose.
could
Yellow
be
could
Violet.
be, yeah, well, maybe. Yellow could be, I guess, yeah,
Wario.
Wario probably.
Hmm.
Pink's probably going to be Daisy, or not Daisy, Peach, I mean. Black, I'm not sure which one with black. Game & Watch.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. And that could be more of a straightforward battle because you're fighting them all at once. That could be enough in itself, and you could put it on an Omega Final Destination. I mean, an Omega, that would be redundant. An
Yeah.
Omega Forest Maze.
You want to do Battlefield Final Destination?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Uh,
Actually,
and
Midgar
then
would be pretty fitting too.
true. Okay, let's do Midgar. And then featuring a live workshop on this episode, friends. Um our legend would be Culex.
Oh fuck.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And goodness gracious, what can I say about that? The it would be nice if, let's see, Culux can be represented by a boss instead of a character.
Marks.
And the boss can be Marks. And you're fighting Marks, except Marks has considerably more HP than in the standard Marks battle. And you only have a certain amount of time to defeat Marks. So, the way that you're going to get around this is fighting off differently colored miniature X
Kirby.
characters, miniature Kirby's. You'll fight them off that represent crystals. And as you defeat these Kirby's, Marks gets big knockbacks and damage that eventually lower his HP to low level.
Hmm.
And then you take down Marks.
So you could, if you wanted to, just ignore the Kirby's and try and fight Marks on your own.
Right, right.
Okay, interesting.
And that's them's the works. That turned out less of a mess than the prior spirit battle. So pat on the back for me. I didn't expect that. um Questions, concerns, moving on.
I mean, Gino's a character that I love. He's my number one most wanted, and
Mm-hmm.
if I'm wrong about him not being in the past, I will be incredibly happy about that. But
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel pretty down on it. The fact that we know it was more of Nintendo kind of picking the DLC than it was Sakurai picking really makes me feel like it's going to be a tough pick for him. Like, why would Nintendo choose Gino? Why would they do that? Sakurai we know likes the character, but why would Nintendo, the company, want that? I don't know. But at the same time,
True.
Mega Smilax, a boss that is unique to Mario RPG and is only in that game, is mentioned in Veridi's the Palutena's guidance by Veridi when you're examining Piranha Plant in the game. Which you
Oh
would
yeah.
think, oh, wouldn't Square own that? That's
Mm-hmm.
weird. Why would it be
Mm-hmm.
mentioned in the games? People have thought, oh, maybe there's going to be something with Gino there. But since he
Mm-hmm.
didn't get in the first Fighter Pass, where you could have expected, oh, they're referencing him because they know he's going to be in, since we didn't get him, I'm kind of just like, well, maybe that was just a random mention then. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I
That
want
was
him,
very
but
odd.
I'm not. I don't have much faith in it, which
Right.
disappoints me.
Yeah, me too. But as they say back home, Gino give.
Yes, Geno GIF. All right, so my next character. This is one that was mentioned by two other people that we asked.
Mm-hmm.
It's we're going to the Capcom side of things now. It's finally time for them to get another rep because they haven't gotten one yet this game. Besides Ken,
Mm-hmm.
an Echo. Woo! Sparkle,
Woo!
sparkles. Don't care about Ken at all. I mean, he's fine, whatever, but it's still an Echo. I don't care about Echoes
Mm-hmm.
mostly. But the character I've chosen here to be Capcom's next entrant into Smash, it's not Dante, it's not Amaterasu, it's not a third Street Fighter character. No, it's Phoenix Wright. Oh, please. Another one of my
Mm-hmm.
top ones. I'm a huge fan of the Ace Attorney games. I really wish that Investigations 2 had come out to the West, as well as the prequel game that stars Phoenix's ancestor. I understand why that wasn't translated because a lot of the puzzles and the stories around it would be more difficult to translate into English because they're based heavily upon like Japanese stories and jokes from what I've read. But I still would have loved
Mm-hmm.
to play the game.
Oh yeah.
But for Phoenix here, I mean, obviously he's going to shout objection. I'm pretty sure I have a moveset already posted for him on Smashtopia. But you could
Mm-hmm.
even have like a mechanic where he's having to search for evidence, kind of like what you have in Marvel's Capcom 3. Obviously, you'd have to change it a little bit, so it's not just the same thing. But Sakurai likes giving gimmicks to these DLC characters and making them have some kind of special way to play them. Phoenix Wright having to deal with evidence. That hey, I mean, that's an easy choice. You could
Mm-hmm.
easily just snatch that up. But for his stage, I'm going with the courtroom. It's pretty basic. It's pretty symbolic of the entire franchise. It makes sense. I don't see any like hazards on it. Maybe just like you can fight at the judge's booth, the prosecutor's desk, the defendant's desk. Easy stuff there. The
Yeah.
music I actually had to trim down because I was like, oh god, there's a lot of good music in these games. My
Mm-hmm.
god. What I ended up going with was the primary cornered theme, which you hear in the court cases when you're about to nail that suspect. Great theme. I've also got the
Mm-hmm.
Steel Samurai theme, which is present throughout the entire series as well.
Nice.
Then I've got Mask the Masks theme from Trials and Tribulation, The Dark Age of Law from Dual Destinies, and finally Troop Gramarie from Apollo Justice. All five very good tracks. If I could have listed more, I would have.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I just love the game. I really want to do a let's play for it eventually on my YouTube channel. It's just a matter of getting to that point because there's
So
so
let's
many
start
games I want to
gaming.
play. Yeah, but
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I thought about doing it as my next team, and I asked a friend of mine. I was like, "Hey, should I do this or this?" And I knew they were an Ace Attorney fan. I thought they'd say Ace Attorney. Then they said the other game. I was like, okay, sure. I guess we'll do that one. Whatevs.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was caught off guard by that. For our me costumes, first of all, we're going to bring back the basic Monster Hunter outfit that we had in Smash 4, along with the Rathalos armor outfit from Smash 4. Both of them are obviously going to be Mii Sword Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
For another Mii Sword Fighter, I've got Dante from Devil May Cry, which using his classic Dante look, not like,
Ah,
DMC Dante. We don't talk about that one.
appearing in me costumes is Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Yes, not Dante's Inferno either.
Oh, okay.
I've also got a Me Brawler outfit for Miles Edgeworth, Phoenix's eternal rival. And then, you know what's
Wonderful.
kind of surprising to me? We've got
Hmm.
Ken and Ryu, playable in the game, but no Street Fighter Mii's.
True.
None. We've got multiple Mii's
Mm-hmm.
from like Art of Fighting and Virtua Fighter and King of Fighters, but nothing from the OG Street Fighter. So how about Chun
Mm-hmm.
Li?
Okay, that works for me.
She's the next biggest character in the franchise. Typically, when Street Fighter does any kind of crossovers, you get Ryu and you get Chun Li. Beyond that,
Mm-hmm.
you might get Ken, you might get Guile, maybe M Bison, but it's typically Ryu and then Chun Li. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just weird that she's not involved in any way. Give her a Mii costume. Why the hell not?
Right. Right.
For our
Absolutely.
yeah, for our spirit battles, this is actually the franchise where I went beyond just 9. I had to go to 11 because there are so many that I thought about including. It's like, Well, fuck, we gotta cut it down somewhere. Unfortunately, I had to cut
Mhm.
out the primary villain from the first game, which really hurts, but,
Mhm.
you know, I had to do it. I had to do it. If I could add in one more spirit, I would add back in Manfred von Karma, but unfortunately, I cannot.
You
So,
cannot.
no, I can't. The first spirit battle for Ace Attorney is Miles Edgeworth, Phoenix's rival,
Oh yeah.
and obviously he's going to be represented by Phoenix Wright himself at the courtroom stage. For this
Of
battle,
course.
yeah, for this battle, this is a fun one, I think. Items are going to spawn at an increased rate, period. Just all items. But, in addition to that, when you throw an item, it's going to be dealing increased damage. You're presenting these
Ooh.
items at court.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's so
Very
good.
nice.
The next one I have is Maya Fey, Phoenix's assistant, who's going to be represented by Zelda at the Gerudo Valley stage. For this match,
Yeah.
Zelda's magic attacks are going to be stronger, and if you don't KO Zelda in less than a minute, Palutena is going to spawn in to help fight, but you only need to KO Zelda. And that's kind of representing the spirit channeling technique that Maya Fey can do. She's bringing in an ally, because she doesn't want to fight, but you're forcing her to.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, I've got Dick Gumshoe, everybody's favorite lovable police captain. Well, is he a captain? I don't know. He's a detective, and he's not very good at it. But he's going to be represented by Donkey Kong on the Four-Side stage. Yeah, not a great stage for Donkey Kong. But, I mean, Dick Gumshoe's not good at his job, so it kind of works, I think.
Mm-hmm.
For this
Mm-hmm.
match, Isabelle is actually going to be fighting alongside Donkey Kong, and is actually going to try her best to protect him. So she might run in front of an attack that's meant for Donkey Kong that you're trying to attack him with. And unfortunately for you, that doesn't really help you at all because you only need to KO Donkey Kong to win. Isabelle's really getting up in your face. And she's meant to
Nice.
represent Maggie Bird, the girl that Gumshoe, well, the member of the police that Gumshoe kind of fell in love with. Just kind of seems
Well,
fitting to throw her in there with that. Plus, I didn't know what else to do for that battle. I was at a loss, like, what can I do for Gumshoe? Oh no, I don't know. So I had to come up with something. Next up, I've got Franziska von Karma, everybody's favorite whip wielding prosecutor. She's going to be represented by Richter Belmont on the Pilot Wings stage, which you might think, Pilot Wings? Why the fuck Pilot Wings? I get it. I trust me, I get it. But there's a reason. She's from Germany, so she flew over to America or Japan, wherever this game takes place, because Ace Attorney kind of does the whole Americanization nonsense.
mm-hmm.
But also in the Ace Attorney Investigations game, one of the cases in that game takes place on a plane. And I might be misremembering,
Wonderful.
but I think Franziska is in that case. I might be wrong though, but I think she's there. So Pilot
Mm-hmm.
Wings. Why not?
There you go.
So for this match, Richter's going to prioritize using any of his attacks with the whip, and also all whip attacks are stronger.
Ooh.
Next up, I've got the Steel Samurai, which is a character in a TV show in the games. The Steel
Right.
Samurai will be represented by Byleth on the Suzaku Castle stage. For this match, Byleth will be metal for the start of the match, and actually no, for the entire match. Screw it. The entire match, Byleth is metal, and their attacks are stronger. Not gonna be easy.
No, it's not.
Here's a fun one for you. You know Ace Attorney, right?
Oh, of course.
Finish this phrase for me. When something smells, it's usually,
Eric.
well, I can't say you're wrong, but no. The phrase is when something smells, it's usually the butts. Larry
Yep.
Butts. Phoenix is
Your favorite.
well, no, he's actually extremely annoying. A childhood friend of Phoenix. They went to elementary school together. Larry is a bit of a fuck up. Let's be real here. Larry is going to be represented by Luigi on the New Donk City Hall stage, and Luigi is going to spend most of that match tripping. It just seemed fitting.
Oh, it does.
So our next spirit is going to be the Judge, who's in most of the cases throughout the franchise. He's going to be represented by King Day on the courtroom stage, and his hammer attacks are just going to be stronger, and that's it. Nothing else needed.
Sometimes you don't need anything more.
Sometimes you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, I've got Phoenix's protege. We'll call him that. Apollo Justice, main character from Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. Pretty obvious
Mm-hmm.
there. He's going to be represented not by Phoenix Wright, but by the Dragonborn actually, because one of Apollo's things is that he has this like training program of like cords of steel where he's essentially trying to like yell as loud as he can. And what does the Dragonborn do? Fuss Roda.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be taking place in the
So
Wii Fit studio stage, and items will just gravitate more towards Apollo. On top of Fuss Roda being, it can throw you farther than what it normally would be able to do.
got it. And I would assume it's prioritized as well, so it would be constantly using Fuzzroda.
More than likely, yes.
Okay.
Next up, I've got Trucy Wright, Phoenix's adopted daughter. She's going to be represented
Mm-hmm.
by Rosalina because, she's all about magic tricks, and it's going to be on the Magic Ant stage. For this
Nice.
battle, since there is no magician or wizard or any kind of thing like that, me outfit that's not already an established character, like, again, Verity, Veronica, and Ashley. Instead,
Mm-hmm.
Trucy Wright is going to be accompanied by a me brawler, a me sword fighter, and a me gunner who are all wearing magic hats. It's the only wizardy thing that Mies can wear besides that's not just a regular character. So screw it. So they're representing, the Grimarier family, which Trucy is a part of, and you have to KO all of them to clear the spirit match.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, not gonna be an easy one, but that's not my legendary either. Oh no. Next
Ooh,
up, we've
baby.
got Athena Sykes, who is Phoenix's second protege that you meet in
Mm-hmm.
Dual Destinies. She's going to be represented by Lucina on the Corneria map. Why? I don't really know why she's represented by Lucina. She just is. I didn't know what to do, and I wanted to pick a character that I hadn't already used. So, Lucina, plus I think there's an alt where you can make her have red hair, and Athena has red hair. So,
Mm-hmm.
screw it. And as far as
Yep.
Corneria, there's a case in Dual Destinies that involves a space, not a space station, but like a NASA type area. So kind of felt, Corneria kind of fits that bill a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
For this match, alongside Lucina, you're also going to be fighting against a mini metal Peach, which represents Athena's little tool widget, which can help analyze emotions in a defendant's voice. You only need to KO
Mm-hmm.
Lucina, however, so you don't gotta worry too much about the Peach. But
Right.
our legendary spirit, is the villain from the third Phoenix Wright game, Dahlia Hawthorne.
Ooh,
Dahlia
dolly.
is going to be represented by the sweet and innocent Peach. Or is she? The match is on High Hrothgar, Dragonborn stage, and it starts out just playing against Peach. It just seems like a normal match at first. But then when you KO Peach, giant Bayonetta appears. This is the true form of Dahlia Hawthorne. She's a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Killer.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it. That is my fighter pass with Phoenix Wright, my Capcom
Beautiful.
rep.
Beautiful. Phoenix Wright is a great choice. One that's been surging in popularity for Capcom rep currently as well. Um, and really, when you assess Capcom, it's a similar situation to Square or basically most companies, honestly,
Yeah,
where you have a lot of different characters bubbling towards the top. Phoenix, Amaterasu, Dante, Resident Evil out of time, but those dreams are dead. So it's interesting, and there's so many ways to take it. Some people want baby head, but I don't think that's going to happen. Uh, and so that leads me pretty well to segue into my next character, which is another Capcom character.
hmm.
Um, Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden, developed by Koei Tecmo.
That's not a
And
Capcom character.
no, it isn't, but I thought I'd throw you a curveball there Just like any father would, son.
Papa?
So, yeah, that's me. After all these years, Ryu Hayabusa is the protagonist of the Ninja Gaiden series, but he's also appeared in Dead or Alive, various Warriors titles. He's a very familiar flagship character of Tecmo and has crossed over since into Koei franchises. Uh, and again, a lot of DLC characters and a lot of third party characters, period, are legacy choices. You have characters who reach back into the NES era. You have the Belmonts. You have rivalry characters like Sonic, Pac Man, who's been around for ages, Mega Man, Ryu, Terry. All of these characters have been around for decades and represent like the cream of the crop of
Retro gaming.
retro gaming, which actually could be another argument for Doom Guy too. Um, so that was and Ninja Gaiden. I got into it first on the Virtual Console back in like 2005 or six, no 6 or 7 rather, and it was just a really fun platforming series that since turned into a combo based brawling kind of game, similar to Fable, kind of in that top down gameplay style, but
Hmm.
also not like Fable at all. More like M-rated Nicktoons Unite,
Oh, no.
but also good. So it's hard to explain. But he would have a lot available to him. Pretty much Dragon Sword, starting with the DS, Ninja Gaiden became more of a Nintendo centric series again. Wii U releases. There's one coming on the way on the Switch too. And he's very combo centric, has a lot of flashy moves available to him on top of more of the traditional ninja uses, some magic. So he could be a very adept character with roots in classic history. So for the sake of promotion and for the sake of be a very sound pick from Nintendo standpoint as well as Sakurai's. Um, for the stage, we I wanted to kind of do it how Terry does it, where he's like a King of Fighters rep wrapped in Fatal Fury branding. So I wanted to represent Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden in his move set and his
Oh,
stage.
okay.
So in here's the thing about Dead or Alive. When Hayabusa's first revealed, you're just like, oh, this is Hayabusa stage. And you're just fighting him on a flat plane. I'm like, that is boring. so um so instead of taking the idea of Hayabusa stage from Dead or Alive and applied it to his home village from Ninja Gaiden. So Hayabusa Village is his stage, and it's mostly a background situation where you're able to transition between night and day, viewing this traditional secluded Japanese village in the background. But every so often, a dragon will attack, and the dragon can be any
Rathalos.
number of dragons. Yeah, the dragon can be any number of dragons from throughout the series. The bone dragon, the dark dragon, Smaugen, or all sorts of different dragons. Um, and I'm the thing that I'm kind of torn on is whether or not they will be able to actually attack the stage because they are ginormous. But just for them to fly through the background and offer something a little different to the stage, even in aesthetic form, be very pleasing. Otherwise, I also wanted to reintroduce the mechanic that the King of Fighters Arena introduced to the stage, which is you have those walls on either side, just like a traditional
Yes.
fighting map,
I love
and
it so
then you have
much.
to yeah, exactly. So simple idea. Keep Kiss method Hayabusa stage with some nice background aesthetics for the sake of it not just being nothing. Um, music. Hayabusa has a very iconic theme from Warriors Orochi 3, actually, just called Ryu Hayabusa's theme. So of course that has to be included. I was also thinking main themes from Dead or Alive, like especially the more popular ones, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stuff from the original Ninja Gaiden games, such as The Duel, Boss Battle, Unbreakable Determination, Devilish Influence, uh, including the chiptune original. So you have the original tracks and then remixes as well, kind of like how we approach Chino. Uh, Me costumes for Ryu include from both Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden, and I'm thinking of having costumes for each of their appearances, so their Dead or Alive forms and their Ninja Gaiden forms, because they're different. Kasumi and Ayane, the sister Kunoichis who assist Ryu throughout the series, and also fight in Dead or Alive. Um, all let's say that their Dead or Alive forms can be brawlers, and their Ninja Gaiden forms can be sword fighters.
So they
Then we
both have
have
two costumes.
yes, yes. Just because they both have such prominent roles in both series, and they're both such prominent characters that I figured it would be okay to go that route. On top of three other costumes, taking from the Warriors series each. Linkle as a sword fighter.
Oh.
Yep, yep. And then Liana and Rowan from Fire Emblem Warriors as well.
Oh.
You groan, but you could just see it now. Uh, so that's that. As far as spirits go, there's a few iconic Ninja Gaiden characters that I had in mind. There's Irene Liu, who is Hayabusa's love interest in the original Ninja Gaiden trilogy. I was thinking Zero Suit Samus. Uh, Zero Suit Samus. Good times.
Hey, if it works, it
Ayane and
works.
Kasumi. Yep. Ayane and Kasumi would be obvious as well. Uh, some classic villains like Bomberhead or Jack Yo from the original titles. Um, and then let's just skip right ahead because honestly, Ninja Gaiden, most of the gusto is going to come from the enemies that you face, especially in later games. Those huge dragons, and I will just say that you can have the Dark Dragon similar to an effect like with your remind me what was it again? Alduin.
Alduin, yes.
Yeah. So
That's the one that's
be set
Rathalos.
over. Yeah, this could be set over Rathalos too. We both had two. We both had series with prominent dragon uses. um, and in this case, as Rathalos attacks you, it could have the ability to use both fire and dark damage effects.
Okay.
And beyond that, you will also have a miniature Dark Sheik fighting you as well to represent the evil ninja occult who has wanted to bring the Dark Dragon forth. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Uh, and also, Joe Hayabusa, Ryo Hayabusa's father, as was my planned out legend.
His name is Joe.
And yes, yes,
The
it is, but
fuck?
not. It is an Asian form of Joe. It's J-O with a arrowhead thing above the O, but still. Uh,
So it's more like Joe.
yeah, yeah. So Joe Hayabusa, he is. Although in the American translations back in the '80s, they did translate it as just Joe.
God damn it.
Yep, and some translations have also called him Ken. So
What?
who who knows? Who really knows? And I was thinking about making this a at Hayabusa Village, as Hayabusa dressed in white, and he's just he has a sparkling gold effect around him, and he's just a lot harder to beat, and is just better all around. Stamina battle. There you go.
All right.
All right.
Seems pretty basic to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a classic series, so I think with the kind of standards that you'd be pulling from to better represent the classic side of Ninja Gaiden, you kind of get stuck in that little rabbit hole of it being a little simpler.
That's fair. I mean, you and I
Yeah.
have talked about Ryu Hayabusa and the Ninja Gaiden franchise possibly getting in Smash in the past, and I've kind of been like more wavy on it because like, but we have a Ryu and a Ryu in the game. That's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of weird. But at the same time, we have a Roy and a Roy, so eh. I
Yeah,
mean,
and I mean
like,
you can call Hayabusa.
yeah, you could just call him that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's definitely got the legacy. He's one of the possibly the biggest NES era character that's not in yet. So
Mm-hmm.
he definitely has
I agree.
reasons to be added, and I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
really be disappointed if he was.
Yeah.
He's been talked about a lot in the speculation communities for this, even for the first Fighter Pass. There were multiple leaks that mentioned Ryu Hayabusa being added into the game, but
Mm-hmm.
thus far, we're still waiting.
I know it makes you wonder: is it inevitable, or is this going to be another Star Fox Grand Prix?
I still wish Star Fox Grand Prix was a thing because
So
well,
do
it,
I.
it might have been terrible, but it would have been funny.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Very sad. But
Mm-hmm.
it's time to get to my final prediction for
Ooh,
Fighter
Buddy Bear.
Pass 2. This character,
Mm-hmm.
when looking at all the other lists that were given to us by our friends, was mentioned the most. They were mentioned on four
Aha.
lists, and now I'm mentioning them for the fifth time, and that is from
Spyro.
Activision Blizzard, Crash Bandicoot.
Ooh,
Now, personally,
lovely.
I would prefer Spyro the Dragon to be in the game, but considering
Mm-hmm.
Japan doesn't really like Spyro, the kind of translations or the localization of the first two Spyro games kind of got fucked with. Japan's not really
Mm-hmm.
hot on the character, and even I myself have had a little bit more difficulty coming up with a moveset for Spyro. But I mean, if we get Crash, fine, fine. But I would still prefer Spyro, but whatever. I'll get over it. But for
Mm-hmm.
Crash, he would be, but much like back in the old PlayStation days, you had Mario as like the face of Nintendo, you had Sonic as the face of Sega. Crash was for a while, at least for the platforming side of things, the face of Sony and the PlayStation itself. So having him
Mm-hmm.
in would really complete that rivalry triangle there, and I would love to see it.
Oh yeah.
The stage I have picked for him is Insanity Beach, but you could really expand that to the entirety of Insanity Island if you wanted to. Insanity Island being like the first world of the original Crash Bandicoot, and Insanity Beach is the first level. It's a beach, obviously. There's a jungle, there's trees, crazy stuff. I don't really have a full vision in my mind of how the stage would look or work, but it feels pretty obvious that it's got to be either Insanity Beach or Insanity Island. It just really depends on which one you choose. If you went with Insanity Island, you could make it a traveling stage, and it could include like Papu Papu's temple or
Mm-hmm.
village, whichever it is. I feel like it changes from one game to another, but that area. For the music, though, I decided to pick the main title themes from all three original Crash games, Crash 1, 2, and 3. Their title themes are just amazing, and it will be a crime not to include them. And then I also included the level themes for Jungle Rollers and for the Papu Papu boss battle.
Nice.
They're pretty good tracks. I enjoy them. Especially the
Yeah.
title themes. Oh my god, yes. For
Mm-hmm.
our Mii costumes here, I have a hat of the Aku Aku mask. So you're literally just wearing the Aku Aku mask on the front of the Mii's face. That's it. That's the hat. I
I
mean, if
enjoy
Crash
it.
can do it, why can't we? I also have purely just a hat for Spyro the Dragon. I wanted to make it a me outfit. I really did, but I'm
Hmm.
imagining it in my head, and if I'm picturing it, it's Spyro standing up on his hind legs, and I don't like it. It's cursed, and just give me the hat. Just give me the hat, and I'll deal with it. It can be like a little. It's like his head, and you're wearing it on
Hmm.
top of your head, and like your face is coming out of the mouth, like what some other ones are. Screw it. Let's just go with that. Give me my Spyro hat. Damn it! If I can't have the character, give me a hat, please.
Hmm.
Representing some
Hmm.
of the other Blizzard franchises, I have the Lich King from World of Warcraft being a Mii
Oh,
sword fighter. From
nice.
Overwatch, I have Tracer as a Mii gunner,
Lovely.
and then I also have Genji as a Mii sword fighter.
Cool.
Yes, all some good
Hmm.
choices. I wanted to I thought about having a Diablo character in there, but I don't know Diablo at all, and I didn't really feel like researching it, so I said, "Fuck it, let's have Genji."
Because why not?
Because why not? And it's my list, damn it. So,
Yep.
for our spirit battles for Crash Bandicoot, I have a Dr. Neocortex, the first one. He's being represented by Dr. Mario on the Midgar stage. This one is going to have Dr. Mario's going to be backed up by a few other characters. He's got Urshifu, who's going to be representing Koala Kong, Pikachu
Ooh,
representing Pinstripe Potoroo, and then two King K. Rules who are representing Komodo Joe and Komodo Mo. For this match, though,
nice.
you only need to KO Dr. Mario. You don't need to worry about the others. However, you probably should worry about them anyways, because that's a lot of opponents trying to kill you.
Right.
Next up, I've got the spirit for Aku Aku, the mask. It's going to be a Mii Brawler wearing the Aku Aku mask. Pretty obvious there. This match will take place on Insanity Beach, and every once in a while, the Mii Brawler will be under the effects of an invincibility star. Because that's exactly what the Aku Aku mask does for you in Crash Bandicoot. Makes you invincible.
Lovely.
Next up, I've got Ripperoo, the insane. Well, he's insane. Just completely insane.
Yeah.
He likes explosions and he likes jumping. So he's being represented
Who
by
doesn't?
Sonic on the Congo Falls stage, who is also
Another
blue
character who's
and
insane.
is able to jump, and some would say insane. Probably doesn't like explosions as much though. Just a guess. For this match, oh, did you think Sonic was fast already? Well, guess what? He's wearing a bunny hood. Also, explosive items will spawn very often.
I okay.
Yeah,
That sounds good to me.
it does.
Is it an exploding chili dog?
No,
Okay.
sad for you. I know.
Hmm.
Next up, we've got Papu Papu, the village chief. He's going
That's
to be
what they call
represented by
me.
King K. Rule on Congo Jungle. And
Hmm.
for this battle, King K. Rule will prioritize using his gut check counter, and the belly cannot be broken.
Oh man, just like my belly can't be broken. I like it.
Sure.
Hmm.
Our next spirit battle is going to be up against Coco Bandicoot, being represented by Zero Suit Samus on Spiral Mountain. For
Nice.
this match, Zero Suit Samus will be accompanied by a miniature Ice Climbers representing Polar, and a mini Incineroar representing Pura, and you gotta beat all of them. You gotta beat
Ooh.
the poor defenseless little animals. In fact, you know what? I might say that for Cortex, you gotta beat all of his allies too. Because otherwise,
Okay.
why? Why not?
Yep.
Next up, we've got Dr. Ingen, who's that crazy guy with a missile stuck in his head. How he's alive,
Hmm.
nobody knows. But he's going to be represented by Snake on the Venom stage. And for this one, kind of similar to Ripperoo, explosive items are going to spawn often, but Snake is going to be immune to any and all explosions.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
I
the
almost thought that.
explosion items, they're not there to help you. They're to
Oh no.
hurt you. It's not
I
going to be
almost
good.
thought that Snake was going to use his grenade launcher to just rather his homing missile to just move the missile towards his own head.
You know, that would be an Engine's character.
Yep.
but unfortunately, not one I chose. So moving on, we've got a Tiny Tiger, my favorite
Hmm.
of the villains. He's going to be represented by Incineroar, my least favorite of the Pokemon in the game, on the Arena Ferox stage. This is calling
Hmm.
back to Crash 3, where you're fighting Tiny Tiger in a gladiator ring, or at least I think it's Crash 3. Might be Crash 2, but it's a gladiator ring, so that's where Arena Ferox comes in. And for this match, Incineroar, since we can't give him a Trident, he's going to be using Death's Scythe. But it's not
Nice.
just that.
Yeah.
Tiny Tiger, a little bit feral. So for this match, Incineroar will be relentlessly hunting you down. He's not running. He's not going to be playing defensive. He is an all-out offense to murder your ass.
Yep. Yep.
Next up, I've got
Like it.
Dingo Dial. He's going to be represented by Charizard on Shadow Moses Island. And for this
Hmm.
match, Charizard is pretty much just going to be prioritizing his Flamethrower special, but the Flamethrower Flame will never run out. It will always be at
Ooh,
its maximum power.
nice. My goodness.
So we've only got one more spirit left for Crash Bandicoot, and it's the legendary. But you might be wondering, is like, okay, you've used like a lot of the villains already, including the main villain of the franchise. Who the hell's your legendary?
Oh my
Well,
God, it's fake Crash, isn't
you son of a bitch.
it?
It's Fake Crash. Fake Crash, for those of you that don't know, is a bastardized version of Crash Bandicoot that was based off of a really horribly designed plush toy of Crash that was sold somewhere there, and the developers were just like, you know what? That's funny. Let's put that in the game. And it's fake
Hmm.
Crash. Where does he come from? Nobody knows. What is his purpose? Nobody knows. He's playable in one of the racing games. I believe the second one that they created, uh, where the characters are kind of like on good and bad teams. Except
Hmm.
Fake Crash is not on good or bad. He's more of an in the middle character for some reason. Nobody knows why he exists or any of this shit. But like on Smashtopia, I had made a moveset for Crash Bandicoot, and like the final alt costume is just Fake Crash, and it literally he takes on the appearance of Fake Crash for it, and including the name and the announcer title of Fake Crash. And so for this spirit battle, I imagine that same thing. He's being represented by Crash Bandicoot in the Fake Crash outfit on Insanity Beach. Why is he legendary? All of his stats are heavily boosted. He's stronger than you, he's faster than you, he can take more hits than you. He's not going to be easy to put down. He wants
Oh no.
Fake Crash wants to not only beat the real Crash, he wants to kill the real Crash and replace the real Crash. He gonna do it.
Sounds right.
And that is
Oh
my
man.
final Fighter Pass character. The end of my predictions. We had Master Chief, Yuri Lowell, Dragonborn, Urshifu, Phoenix Wright, Crash Bandicoot. Jonno, how are you ending your list?
Interesting that you asked because we mentioned this character a couple of times throughout the podcast, and at the very beginning, I actually used one of their theme songs a bit near the start, and you're like, "Oh God, people can hear that." You remember the one, right? Dum,
I
dum,
remember
dum,
it happened, but
dum,
I
dum,
don't know
dum,
what it
dum,
was.
dum, 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 dum,
I
dum.
have no idea what that is.
Ha 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 ha
Wait,
ha.
what?
Du, 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 du.
What?
I am going to introduce to you Pachyderm from Yoshi's Story.
No, you're not.
So, for Pachyderm, this yeah, I can't do this. It's Amaterasu.
Okay, there's
Which,
your Capcom.
yeah, to no surprise, I will admit there's a bit of personal bias sprinkled in there, which, like you've always preferred Phoenix, I've always preferred Amy, and then there's Dante too. And I think when you're balancing these out, Resident Evil is dead in the water unless we somehow get Claire, which I just don't think is going to happen. Um,
We'll get Ada Wong or Wesker instead.
I wish we would get Wesker, but he's a spirit now.
Shit.
Yeah. Um. So Dante's looking real good, and he's a fan favorite of the community and speculation right now. And he has so many different techniques available to at his disposal. He loves pizza. There's a lot to enjoy about the guy, and I wouldn't mind his inclusion. Phoenix Wright would be awesome too, and Ace Attorney is a series that I have more experience with than Devil May Cry, so I'd be a little more excited for that. And I really enjoyed you going through lists for Phoenix as well. So Amaterasu, I just wanted to round it out. I don't really know much about Devil May Cry. You covered Phoenix, and I figured you would. So I'm going to go for Amy because she's like somewhere in that mess of the top tier Capcom characters we can choose from. Um, Another character that was supervised, like Dante, by Hideki Kamiya,
Who also did
of all
Bayonetta.
things. Yeah, yep. Um, so there's that precedent, and Sakura has a friendship with him, although that doesn't really factor into things of Nintendo's choosing. But there's also a precedent, I think, because Okami, although it's pretty much known for that solo game, because Okami doesn't, it's a good game, but it's a DS game. People are looking for a sequel to Okami. It's like you get to revisit other locations from the original game. It's a fun nostalgia trip, but then when you're not playing it on a DS and you're looking towards the future, you're like, why would I ever play this?
Yeah.
So
It's kind of like
even though,
Majora's Mask in the essence that they just reused a lot of assets and moved on, but it's also
mhm.
not as good.
Yeah, and that was unavoidable too because it was on weaker hardware.
Yeah.
Um, it was fun for what it was at the time, but we are still looking for the true sequel. And in the meantime, Okami is pretty much the one game in the franchise that's really looked highly upon, but it is a cult favorite. It is extremely popular in certain circles. A best-selling game as well, a greatly highly reviewed game, critically acclaimed by all means, and has been constantly ported and remastered again and again, including on the Wii and on the Switch. Uh, so there's a precedent there for Amaterasu's inclusion. Uh, there's no telling what the prediction rate is against Dante or Phoenix. I think that those are our top three Capcom characters,
Yeah, I'd agree
and
with that at this
it's
point.
yeah, and it's ultimately just what's going to be chosen because it's like I feel like the community too and speculation has constantly circled back, been like, oh, it will be Amy, oh, Dante. It's like we don't know, especially with Dante just being off those recent tweets that turned out to be just for that Devil May Cry 3 port.
Yep.
Uh, he's only as likely as the others. Only as likely as the others. Um, so Amaterasu too. I mean, it's a non humanoid character that she runs on all fours, a wolf with divine powers.
Babylonian would
There's a lot to
appreciate
work with
that.
there. Oh yeah, oh yeah. As would I. So for Amy's stage, there's two locations that I was thinking of, and they're the two most the two foremost overworld areas where you can really fully explore, and that's Shinshu Field or Ryoshima Coast. Shinshu Field is a lot like the Hyrule Field of the game, the first area that you really get to explore and fight enemies and interact with different characters and just kind of and bask in the game. So theoretically, it would probably be the first choice. I'm going Ryoshima Coast as well, just to throw it out there. It's the first area you go into after beating the Ochi arc. So it's like that first cut of the game. Then you're jumping into this whole new story plot. Um, and it's just a gorgeous area. There's a whale in ride and a sunken pirate and a ghost sunken pirate ship that's infested by demons. A shrine that was inhabited by a bunch of monks at one point, but has now been mostly abandoned in light of a curse. There's a lot of interesting things happening on Real Coast, so it would be a fun stage to move around. A traveling stage. Shinshu Field, I could see it just in front of one of the cherry blossom trees, And my mechanic idea for that would be that when you first enter Shinsu Field, it is cursed.
Hmm.
It's been cursed by Orochi. Its Sakura tree has been dissolved of its strength, and so we've lost the essence of nature in Shinsu Field while it's cursed. So my idea is to have this area that will always remain normal, like a patch of grassy area and right in front of the tree. That as it turns back into a sapling, it'll still be safe. But then the rest of the area becomes cursed, and you are at risk to garner different status effects or be dealt casual damage if you remain in the cursed area for long. Um, and then over time, the I don't know if it would be that you can activate something by like hitting sapling balls or something to send it back towards the tree and restore it, or if it will just be something that happens throughout the match automatically. Then the tree restores itself, and then it's full of lush wildlife, and you have platforms to play on and that sort of thing. So you're in front of the tree, and I think you always have the platforms available actually, and you're fighting in front of the tree. Actually, that sounds like fun. For music, there's no shortage of really great tracks from Okami. One of my favorite soundtracks from a video game ever. Um, so, of course, if we were on Shinshu Field, which I think I'm leaning towards, you would have the cursed Shinshu Field track as well as the regular Shinshu Field track. I'm also thinking of Ryoshima Coast having its track involved as well because it's very majestic, as well as Kaguya's Journey, Shachimaru's theme, the penultimate song of Okami, probably The Sun Rises, like things like the Tribe of the Heavenly Gods theme, which is like Waka's thing. The menu theme seems pretty standard to include. But also, there was a album put out by Capcom a number of years ago, 2009, called Okami Piano Arrange.
Oh,
And
okay.
as you might imagine, they are piano arrangements of every track in Okami. So for each track that's available in Smash that has a piano arranged version, we're including the piano arranged version as well. So we've effectively got maybe 20 plus tracks for Okami out of here. And I think Capcom will be generous.
Oh yeah.
Had to get a drink of water there. Me costumes. Surprisingly, I only have one for Okami because I had a lot of good ideas for this one.
I'm not too surprised by
Um,
that.
and that is Isun,
That's kind of what I thought.
Amaterasu's little traveling painting bug companion. Um, you get dressed up to the nines as Isun and as a sword fighter. Uh, Dante has another sword fighter. Sir Arthur has another sword fighter.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Jill Valentine as a gunner.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Elma as a gunner.
Elma from
Unless we already have
Xenoblade?
it. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just loosely related RPG territory. And also a deluxe me costume. You mentioned a character that I wasn't really expecting with Reimu Hakure. And so I wanted to toss in there as well Saber Artoria from the Fate series
Okay.
as a deluxe me costume.
Definitely would not
It
expect
started
that.
out, yep, started out as Fate Stay Night, which was like a graphic novel with, to my understanding, mildly erotic themes, and it has turned into a big franchise with warrior style games, RPG style games, and anime series. It's Fate is on the same level as the Toho games. So,
What company has the Fate games?
what company has the Fate games? That's a good question because I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh,
Let's
then maybe I'll look it
look
up
it
while
up.
you go over some more of your stuff.
Okay, sounds good. I think it's Marvelous. Um, so yeah. Otherwise, her track I'm thinking would be Kisio no Hokuri from Fate Stay Night, kind of her theme from that game, and I think one of the main themes. Uh, there we go. And then we're gonna jump into spirits. And for my Okami spirit board, I have once again a collection of characters that I did not make the battles for.
Nice.
Um, very nice, yes indeed. And whatever. I'm gonna list these out, and if I think of something while I'm listing it out, that would be amazing. Then we'll just go for it. Chibi from Okami then can be a smaller version of Amaterasu, I guess. That
Makes
that
sense to me.
runs around pretty fast. It's on Shinshu Field. It's also present in Okami Den, and I don't know. There's less of a charge time when you use the specials. Like Amaterasu, I would imagine have a ink mechanic with a celestial brush. So Chibi, you're fighting Chibi, be like, oh, maybe there's never a unloading of the ink, and it's just always full, so it can use attacks more effectively all the time to make up for the size. Isun can also use probably ink based attacks, and it could be a me sword fighter dressed as Isun with ink that comes out of the sword when it's attacking.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Sakura, the goddess of the tree, don't I think that as you're fighting her, peaches will constantly be falling from the sky, and she would prioritize eating the peaches. And if you play Okami, there's a very obvious reason for that. Susano. Susano is as a sword fighter who in Okami he has the blood of the great warrior in him, so he thinks that he is hot shit. But in reality, it's Amaterasu using the celestial brush that's assisting him in gaining his courage by thinking that he's the one killing these imps or taking down this rock or something.
Nice.
So so yeah, I'm thinking something like a Link or a Marth or something more brawly. How about an Ike that occasionally misses when they try to attack you? Like the attack just does nothing to you, and it's almost a joke battle, and you just knock them away, and that could be at Hayabusa Village just because. Uh, Waka, one of the Moon Tribe, much more sufficient with a blade that's also a flute in his case, and kind of a lightsaber at that, and he's fairly floaty. Hmm, Marth would be better suited for that, or or a Link, and they're a floatier character. Prioritize projectiles, perhaps, or attack up close. It would be good times. Nemuri, a Nemuri in Japanese means sleep, and Nemuri in the game is a bear that balances on a ball and sleeps all the time. And it's just kind of there. I don't really know why. So, and sometimes he's standing on things that you need, like the ball that he needs will be something that you need to unlock a puzzle or something.
Right.
Um, so a character that bounces on a ball that could be Nemuri. Marks, of course, that would be ridiculous. I have no clue. I also have Oki listed
I mean,
here, which is
Kirby.
a yeah, yeah, that's true. Memory could be or it could be a giant Jiggly who's just sleeping. Uh, that's true. Instead of and constantly using sleep, that could be potentially terrifying. Um, I also have Orochi and Yami listed here. Orochi could be the many different heads of a dragon, and that could be different characters like Bowser, Charizard, Ridley.
For a
Uh,
joke, you could even throw in Snake.
yeah, that's true. Or or someone with dragon blood like Hayabusa.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
then
if we were crossing our packs, the Dragonborn.
That's true. That's very
Roy,
true.
depending on what is canon and
Hmm.
what isn't, has dragon blood.
That's true. Also true. Yami, who, the penultimate villain of the game, who is not the legend. So because I did not plan this out, I'm just going to go for the legend, which is Shiranui, the original incarnation of Amaterasu in the game, who 100 years prior to Okami saved the world in much better fashion alongside Susanoo's ancestor Nagi from Orochi and became a legend in Kamiki Village and beyond. Um, so just like a super buffed out version of Amaterasu, I'd imagine. And again, that could be on like a Omega version of Shinshu Field. There's a lot of crossover into the actual canonical Okami stage that can happen with this character pack.
Right.
Uh, but that's a that. That's a that.
That's that, huh?
How you,
That's your whole
that's
character
that, huh?
pack.
Pretty much.
Well, we've gotten through the predictions of six friends, 12 fighter packs full of material between the two of us,
Mm-hmm.
and this has been over 3 hours discussing all of this with you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
it has been. It's definitely been
That's
a
something.
long podcast for us, which we knew was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But
That went by fast.
fast? Uh,
That was fun.
I don't know if I'd use the word fast, but yeah, I'll call it fun. But you know what I think is my favorite part about this whole podcast?
That it's over?
All right, well that's up there, but no. My favorite part is seeing what DLC we actually get and who is more correct. Will it be you? Will it be me? Will it be one of the other six that's sending predictions to us? I don't know. I'm
Or
looking
will we all
forward to
be
finding
wrong?
out. I mean, at least one of us is going to get one character right. Come on.
Yeah.
We're not going to
Yeah.
be completely all stonewalled here.
And Gino will be that character. Fingers
I would love it.
Gino give. Hmm.
Indeed. But unfortunately, that seems like it's time to wrap things up here.
That's true. Okay, and in that case, I guess before we go, we'll go right on ahead and announce our next episode, which is going to be a barrel blitz of fun, Smashtopia, that is not a character for the first time ever. Episode 14,
It's going to be
Smashtopia,
interesting.
an assist trophy extravaganza, where we're
Indeed.
going to be just rapid firing assist trophy ideas for, a good hour and and see where we land at the end of it with how many we toss out there for the workshop.
How many are going to be utter bullshit? How many of them are going to be like, why did you choose this character? That's stupid.
Yep.
And how many are just like, yeah, I agree with that.
Yep. I'll tell you right now, Azurda is going to be one of them from the sky.
I've got a few interesting surprises in store for you.
Oh, so do I. It'll be fun. And it'll be much shorter than this one.
God, yes.
All right. Well, until next time, Godspeed and good luck.
Azurda does not fly through sky.